NFC East Battle Royale. Landover, Maryland, with more water leaking. Jerry Jones' Dallas football team, the circus, that is the Cowboys, and that Dallas football team come in to play the Washington football team without a nickname. Did you watch? Well, if you did watch, chances are you were not watching the entire game, as it was a rout or root, depending on how you look at it. The defense ruled the day as Micah Parsons sacked Taylor Heineke. Not once, but twice. He forced a fumble and got a partridge in a pear tree, returned it for a touchdown, and the Cowboys jump out to a 24-0 lead, and they make good on Mike McCarthy's guarantee by holding on to beat Washington 27-20. More on Mike McCarthy's guarantee in a moment, but the story here is the fact that Dallas was able to win yet another game. That's 2 in a row now, where Dak Prescott took a ride on the Vomit Comet, and he was bad. He was not only wearing the Cowboy star, he was terrible. Terrible. So let us discuss the question on this one. Do the Cowboys have a Dak Prescott problem? I'm shaking my head. Yes. I'm nodding my head. Yes. You've got head and shoulders, lifeguard, and barge. And we will connect all of these things together, and that will put together the ingredients of this MALLER monologue. So first of all, Dak Prescott, his performance is getting worse. It's not getting better. That is a statement of fact. In this moment, that is the reality. Jerry Jones has issues. He's got problems on his hands, right? And we have been highlighting this week after week as we sit here at the Bully Pulpit and chronicle what's going on. And the Cowboys are winning games, and they've gotten back on track thanks to the Saints and the generosity of the Saints against the Cowboy defense and now Taylor Heineke. But the Cowboys are not getting elite quarterback play. They're paying for elite quarterback play, and they're not getting it. It's like paying for high-speed internet, and you're getting dial-up internet quality. That's essentially what the Cowboys have going on right now. And Dallas is still winning their share of games, and so it does not get highlighted. It does not get broken apart as it would had the Cowboys lost some of these recent games. And congratulations, Dallas defensively found a unicorn, at least for this year. We'll see what the future holds. But Micah Parsons is making a name for himself and, more importantly, making game-changing plays week after week. And I say his nickname, Micah Parsons, should be Head and Shoulders because he is working as shampoo to cover up the stench of Dak Prescott, right? That is a mess. It is a house of cards situation. Quarterback quagmire, the foundation of this Cowboy team, was not built on defense. It was built on offense. And that offense right now is fragile. And they are loaded with playmakers up the wazoo on offense. They've got a powerful wide receiver room, big name running back, headline quarterback. They're built with big guns. And at this moment, the results are just not there. The Dallas football team scored one offensive touchdown against the Washington football team, and that is unacceptable. Unacceptable. And we're not talking about the opposition here having a no-fly zone pass defense. The team without a nickname, the nameless team from D.C., coming into the events on Sunday, had the NFL's 30th ranked pass defense. They were 30th. There's only 32 teams in the league. You got one offensive touchdown. And Dak Prescott had 2 interceptions, and there were at least 4, if not 5 or 6 passes that should have, could have, would have been picked off in an alternative reality. And Dak Prescott averaging 5.4 yards per attempt. Dink and dunk. Dak is back with a bullet. Dink and Dunk Dak. That's what we called him. He earned the nickname his first few years in Dallas, the Dink and the Dunk, and he's back being that guy. Now, secondly, the MALLER report card for Dak Prescott against Washington, he gets an F on the MALLER report card. Swimming in the septic tank. And ever since returning in Week 9 against the Broncos, was it the Denver defense of Uncle Vic Fangio that figured something out that other teams have been copying? Or is Dak Prescott still hurt and they're covering up the injury? Or is there something else going on here? All I know is that Dak has been in need of a lifeguard because he has been drowning on a weekly basis. It has been cringeworthy. If you're a Cowboy hater, this is a wonderful time right now. Now, what is my evidence? Look at the individual results. The numbers do not lie. The last 6 games, that's a month and a half, Dak Prescott is averaging 6.5 yards per pass attempt. He's got 8 touchdown passes, 6 interceptions, and a passer rating below 83. That's in the last 6 games combined. Those are the kind of numbers of a marginal quarterback who doesn't have a guaranteed contract, maybe undrafted quarterback. You're just trying to see what you have. Not Mr. $126 million man guaranteed. Now, Dak got the money, and the Cowboys now got the funny. They're looking funny at the quarterback position. That's a lot of cheese for substandard quarterback play. And it's not just a bad pass here or there. It's not that. He has consistently been off target, and this has been going on now, if you do the math, 6 out of 17 games. And who knows what the future, there might be more games down the line. But right now, it's at 35%. Over 35% of the regular season, this has been unacceptable quarterback play. Now, last week on his paid radio show in Dallas, Jerry Jones blamed the receivers. Right, a smile from ear to ear. Not Dak's fault. No, the receivers. He's licking his lips there, talking about the receivers, that they were running the wrong route or route. So for 6 consecutive games, it's all because the receivers are running the wrong route. What's the excuse of the week going to be? We'll see what the boss, Jerry Jones, comes up with this week. Not that it matters. The Cowboys have both a Dak Prescott problem and they have no way out. They are stuck in a corn maze. It is ride or die with Dak Prescott. There is no backup plan. So I can sit here and rant and rave and spit into these microphones. It doesn't matter. The Cowboys are going to continue to send Dak Prescott out unless he gets hurt, and then they're forced to play somebody else. There is no contingency plan. There is no contingency plan. They can't balance the books at the quarterback position. It is all Dak all the time. You give the Dallas Cowboys 60 minutes, and you'll get 60 minutes of Dak Prescott, or however long the Cowboys offense is on the field. All right, final thoughts. So what happened to the Mike McCarthy guaranteed jinxing the Cowboys? That was the story, right? The end of last week, we talked about it. Media had a field day. It was a feeding frenzy. Oh, my God, no! The Cowboys coach guaranteed a win. He put you put the whammy, right? Put the whammy on the Cowboys. Didn't look like they had any issue with the win. See, this is what I was talking about. Right? Mike McCarthy made the guarantee. If the opposite had happened, if Washington had somehow won the game, the story would have been Mike McCarthy put the jinx on his own team. He should be fired. But since the Cowboys won the game and McCarthy was running around like a peacock and flopping the feathers there, saying we're going to win the game, and they ended up winning the game, then the story just vanishes. Happens all the time. Happens all the time. All right. Now, as for the Washington football team, hideous, repulsive. At the start of the game, Ron Rivera's team, Dallas has a good defense, but not that good. Not that good. They got some help from the team formerly known as the Redskins, and Taylor Heineke, who has played like a guy who deserved to get another opportunity in Washington next season as the quarterback. In this particular game, he played like he had an upset stomach. In the first half, he passed for 19 more yards than I did and you did combined. 2 of 12 for 19 yards, a passer rating of 4.9. in the first half of football, and as a result, the Cowboys did not allow any points because of the lack of pinpoint accuracy from the opposing quarterback there. Taylor Heinicke in Washington did not score. Reminder, it's one of the fun things we bring up. If the quarterback drops back and throws the pigskin into the ground, snap after snap after snap on every play, that turns out to be a 39.6 passer rating. And Taylor Heinicke in the first half of this game had a passer rating of below 5. Astonishing barge of garbage was the way that he played. It really didn't get any better in the second half. He was tossed around like a volleyball, sacked 4 times, hit many more times than that, finally exited in the fourth quarter with a knee injury, and Washington did get some garbage time points. Also got some help from Dak Prescott to get back in the game the final minutes there. But Ron Rivera's team did not seem overly concerned about Taylor Heinicke's injury, saying it didn't look that bad. And the expectation, at least in the hours after the game, was that Heinicke will be back as the quarterback. And he's a guy that has heart and gumption and moxie and all that. But boy, did he look dreadful in this game. He looked like a guy that should be selling insurance somewhere, like a guy that was undrafted, who's now been on, 5 teams, I believe, in 7 seasons as a hobo on the NFL Express train going through the Netherlands of the NFL. And so that 4-game winning streak for Dan Snyder's team is over, done, and Washington 6-7. And they are still the 7th and final team in the plus. Even with losing the game, the Washington NFL franchise is still 7th in the playoff picture. There are 5 teams, all 6-7 on the season. You're asking, well, what does the future hold for that Washington blank? They are the Washington Blanks. Well, the near future is another key matchup in the NFC as they will take on the Philadelphia Eagles in Philly next week. And the schedule for Washington, it goes Dallas, Philly, Dallas, Philly. And then they close it out with the Giants. And that game will be in New Jersey. So there's not an impossible road here for Washington. It's conceivable they could win all 4 games remaining on the schedule, and chances are they will not do that. But 3-1, let's say they go 3-1 the rest of the way. That gets them to 9-8. Is that good enough to get in the playoffs in the NFC? This year, it very well looks like that will be good enough to get in to the playoffs, the way things are going. Anyway, here's Dak Prescott. We mentioned the Cowboys have a Dak Prescott problem. And here is Dak spitting out some cliches when asked about his stinkage.
It's frustrating. We got high standards and high expectations for ourselves. So when you're not moving the ball and you're not scoring points, you're only scoring, 6 points in the second half? Yeah, it's not acceptable. We've got to be better than that latter part of the year, obviously, as you get ready to go play better teams, play division teams, and play in the playoffs.
Got to be better than that. Yeah, okay. The Cowboy drives in the second half. They had one decent drive to start, and they went 9 plays, 48 yards, got down into the Washington territory at the 41-yard line, had to punt. And then after that, every other drive was 4 plays, 5 plays, 3 plays. It was bad. Bad to the bone for the Cowboy offense there. What is next here? How about we go to the other side here? Ron Rivera, and here is Ron telling you'll hear the question and the answer, a very poetic answer from Ron Rivera.
First half like that and the second half like that, what do you take away from this game ultimately?
Tale of 2 halves, honestly. We didn't play the way we're capable of in the first half. You got to give them credit. They made a couple of big plays. We didn't capitalize. We had a big interception, unfortunately, and we didn't do anything with it. They capitalized and put points on the board.
Yeah. Well, go to the tail of the tape. And the tape, pound for pound, you're getting smashed in the first half. That was terrible. Terrible.